Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Speak On It podcast. I am your host, Big Mike, back after another long week in sports, a great football weekend in sports, and we are here to recap it and talk about it. We're running the three-man weave tonight. You know I can't do it alone. I got the man producer podcast Poppy in the building. And I have Anthony in the building.
What it do?
Guys, thank you. Someone say something. Thanks.
I pointed. The quest I was doing in Dragon's Dogma is complete now. So get an item I'm looking for fucking 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Dude, the game is great, but like there's some things where it's like this is kind of fucking stupid. They need to do a better job of like telling me where I need to go.
Bro, it's called IGN.com, man. How you let yourself go 4 weeks, man? Just hop on that shit and look up the wall.
I'm not reading. No, I'll just watch somebody on YouTube who made a 2-minute video with fucking 1 million views on it because they had the same issue that I fucking had.
I have to say, after about a week, all right, let's fire YouTube up.
Well, I put the game on pause. I for about a week and a half, and I've been obsessed with fucking Hades and Balatro. So I'm like, all right, time to go back.
But we are back. How was you guys this week? Because I know how my weekend was. How was your I know mine was pretty good.
Yours is pretty good. Mine was pretty good.
Pretty good.
Anthony, how was your football weekend?
Oh, you are so lucky. We did not do the drinks for dinner on the playoffs. You
Ooh, this is a rough week.
Got 1 point on his confidence pick. I think Dylan only got 1 game. You got 1 game wrong, or 2?
I got my 1 pointer wrong.
But I'm saying in totality, I think you only got 1 game wrong. That the 1 game you didn't get. That was only
the Broncos
for the weekend.
Yeah, my 1 point.
I got every game. I got every game right.
Yeah,
I got every. Pick all the easy cupcakes. Pick all the cupcakes.
I picked the same.
Anthony, you thought the Vikings were going to roll the Rams.
You did.
Was I the only one who was going to think that the Vikings weren't going to roll the Rams?
You were the only one who. Well, Steven is the only one who did not think the Vikings. Well, I didn't pick the Vikings because I had a feeling that I watched the Lions do that thing to Sam Darnold, and then I watched the Rams then do that same thing to Sam Darnold. So it was time.
Because my thing was, Darnold did a pretty good job of not seeing ghosts the whole year, and obviously he did last week. But then I'm like, okay, he's not going to do it 2 weeks in a row. Like, then this was just bad. Granted, I still think the O-line gets a little bit more blame, but that's just me.
Yeah, let's get into it. We'll start with that game.
Let's do it.
Rams Vikings Monday night from Arizona, because obviously there's the wildfires going on in Los Angeles. That's just a terrible situation. I mean, it's rough looking at pictures and stuff for that.
It definitely is.
I definitely think I can speak for everyone. I say our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone in SoCal as it continues to burn. At the time that we're recording this, it's still burning. So, fire hurricanes are no joke. But so this game was played in Arizona. We didn't talk about it. I didn't know. I thought this game being moved to Arizona was going to be big for Minnesota, because I thought this was going to turn into a Vikings home game. There were a lot more Rams fans in that building than I anticipated, and it was loud in that stadium.
Yes, it was.
I was pleasantly.
Well, shout out to LA Sports in general. They've been showing up for both teams, honestly. I mean, I've seen the Chargers. The Chargers have fans,
That's right.
They're showing up.
That one's
The
surprising.
Chargers just need to go to San Diego. They're
the Chargers
you
fan
could say-
base abandoned them when they left San Diego.
because like
But their home games have been pretty Charger centric. I mean, their
I
home.
don't
You
know.
got to take a look
They
at some of their
should
home
be.
crowds.
I don't know,
should be.
Anthony. It feels like Los Angeles has adopted the Rams as their team.
Yes.
LA's team is the Rams, and the
Yes.
Chargers are just over there.
The Chargers are the Jets.
But I don't even know if their fan base. Like I don't.
But we're a better
still
fan
identify-
base.
You identify the Jets.
Listen, I saw every game. I saw every primetime game they had. The one against the Ravens. Even when we played them, their stadium was pretty packed with Chargers fans. As much as I hate to say it, I was like, "Yo, where are these Chargers fans at? Like, they really showing up now. Like,
I mean,
it's there."
They have a strong fan base in San Diego. Strong fan base.
He's bringing it back to San Diego.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
They should have never.
No,
left.
they do. They do.
They should have never left. Like the Padres was able to build a stadium. How come y'all couldn't build a stadium? Because the owner's greedy. I know the answer, Dylan. I was just talking. I know the answer. The owner's greedy.
It's greedy.
To Anthony's point, I wouldn't say we were arguing about it because I mean, as Dylan said, and happens a lot in this chat, but no one listens because pride is an evil cancer that's in this chat. Two things can be true at one time because as me and Anthony were saying as we were watching the game, this offensive line is trash. Like trash.
Trash.
Hike is running for his life and he can't run. So it's not a good look. But there were some times where he was holding on to the ball too long. Which
Yes.
I agreed with Dylan. And I talked. It's like, you're right. There's some plays that he's just holding the ball. Like, bro, you got to get rid of it.
Watching the broadcast, Aikman was literally saying everything that I was saying. Where it's like, you can blame the offensive line all you want. But, like, there were some plays where it's just like, he just started to feel pressure when it wasn't there sometimes.
Which, Dylan, me and you have always co-signed on the one thing you can do. I don't care. I've told him this a million times. I don't care what quarterback you put there. If you get pressure on the quarterback, they start doing dumb things. Because when they lose their inner clock for the offensive line or how much protection, they start doing dumb shit. And the moment you can name the quarterback, I promise you I can find you footage of them doing dumb shit because they thought pressure was there when it wasn't there.
The problem here is...
Well, some quarterbacks do better under duress.
Sam Darnold is famous for feeling pressure that's not there.
When his mental clock breaks, it's broken.
There's no calming him.
That's what scares me.
Problem. And this is what I've been all year, where it's like eventually you're going to get to a point where the real Sam Darnold is going to show up. And I don't know how he's going to come back from it because Sam, being so highly touted out of college, came out, had a really good rookie year, and then was just destroyed by Adam Gase and like the offensive line and
you can say it.
The Jet fan base. I will tell you right now, as a collective, we didn't treat Sam wrong. We wanted Sam to have better. That's the thing. Every Jet fan I've talked to about Sam Darnold, it feels the same exact way as I do. The prodigal son, the one who got away.
So would y'all take him back?
Yeah, if the money was right.
What's the money is right?
Money and the situation. If you're telling me I have fucking Matt Nagy as my offensive coordinator, Sam, please don't come back. Go do better. Go be backup for Matt Stafford for a year. Like, just keep going to quarterback school and learning from these awesome fucking offensive minds. Don't come here if you're going to be fucking with shitty situation. Like, we don't want that. Like, I want better for sure. The fan
I'm
base
just
should
afraid
be
how he's going to
appreciative.
perform when the line doesn't hold up. That's just my concern with him.
Yeah, this
At the
is
end of the
like
day,
all I've said all year. This Vikings situation was the perfect situation. This was Baker Mayfield's situation in Tampa. This was, you inherited a good wide receiver room. You got a good play caller. You got a good offensive line. You got a good defense. Go have yourself a year. And the difference is Baker capitalized and had like a hell of a playoff game his first year. Or last year. Yeah, he had a hell of a playoff game against that Lion team last year. Sam didn't. And Sam having the game that he had cost himself millions. Because now I don't think
millions.
I don't think he's gonna get a real contract. I think if he leaves the Vikings, he's gonna get a 1-year deal, another same deal that he has now, a 1-year prove it deal, or the Vikings gonna tag him. And see,
I think he gets 3 years. I don't think he'll get it. I think he'll give more than
I
that
don't.
1 year.
I think you're silly if you give him 3 years. Because
Why not give him the 3-year prove it deal? Cut him after 2.
Because that's not a prove it deal. A prove it deal is 1 more year. Because again, which goes back to my other point that I always make, you're really going to pay a quarterback off of 1 good year?
Happens all the time.
And you should.
And the thing is,
it works out bad for that. It's for the team that does it.
Top quarterback money's not 3 years, $100 million. 3 years, $100 million is like, okay, we're going to give you some damn near starter quarterback money. Let's see what you can do. If you can, because Baker Mayfield, he's putting himself in, because he signed like 3 years, $100 million, 50 guaranteed. He's already put himself in line for that max quarterback contract. That's the same kind of deal I would like throw at Darnold personally. I think he's done enough for me to be like, okay, I can give him more than a year, but I just don't. I'm not completely sold on him, and it sucks for him because it's like you were 14-3. No, you were 14-2 as a starter. You played 14 games out of 16, but then the last 2 games, just 2 games, basically just absolutely I'm not gonna say destroyed, but it fucked up your value. Like it really did.
The Vikings don't need to give him that money. The Vikings drafted, regardless of what you think about, like what I think about JJ McCarthy, right? They have a first-round pick quarterback who's on their roster. If they're like, we don't really need to pay Sam because we have like this quarterback we drafted in the first round, like we don't need to give him Baker Mayfield money. We could go allocate that money to other resources. Let's go improve that offensive line that had Sam seeing ghosts.
See, now I agree with that. Now I think the Vikings should not retain Sam Darnold. Because at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, he got you 14 wins, but he gave you the same fortunes that you guys are used to anyway, which is a first-round postseason exit. And at the end of the day, too, on top of that, McCarthy, may he be a little bit of a drop-off. I don't think it's going to be that significant based off what I heard about JJ. And then on top of that, like you said, they can use that extra money to fill up other holes on the team and deepen the roster. So,
and anything that keeps JJ McCarthy away from the Jets, like I'm cool. So, like, if the Vikings want to go that route, then let them go that route. And like, it's hard to say like, oh, a playoff appearance is like a bad thing, right? Do I think the way this season ended was a little bit of a setback for the Vikings? A little bit, because you had all the success, and then for the last 2 games to be this like debacle that they were, it's kind of like,
It leaves
maybe
a sour
we have
taste.
maybe we have to rethink some things.
Very sour taste in your mouth.
And let's say JJ McCarthy is decent, right? 9-win team, right? Like as like that mid to low floor 9-win team. It's not too far off where you're at now. Like the way the NFC is, you could probably squeak in with 10 next year, depending on how everything is. Like you could still be in this same similar situation with the talent that you have. So it may be a little bit more of the growing pains. You get a little bit more of the mistakes because you have essentially a rookie because he couldn't play this year and it'll be his first year playing. But Kevin O'Connell's good. He's a good play caller. I don't know if McCown will be there next year. He probably is going to be an offensive coordinator somewhere, or Flores. Like the Vikings are all in the weird spot.
Flores
is a weird
the
spot.
tricky one because Flores' defense is made them
like crazy good,
a good team. If he's not there and that defense takes a step back, because I don't even the Vikings have some good defensive players, but like it really was smoke and mirrors with that defense. I don't know how Flores got that defense as good as it was. And if he's not there, I don't know how that defense is gonna be good. Honestly.
He did his thing. Shout out to Brian Flores.
But he's blacklisted, so that man.
He does how you do. He has a bad reputation, unfortunately.
Well, he did it. That's the problem. He did it.
Regardless of how we got here, he's blacklisted.
He'll get a job. He may not get a job this year.
DC job.
No, he'll get a head coaching job.
He's gonna have to do this.
Maybe not this year.
For another 2 years. He's gonna have to do
next
this
year
for another 2 years.
Steve and I always joke like I have grown to dislike the Rooney Rule. Right?
Well, because they abuse it now.
Because the Patriots abuse it, right? The way the Patriots did abused it. But there are certain guys who are the Rooney Rule guys that you interview, right? Aaron Glenn the last 2-3 years was the Rooney Rule guy. The guy who wasn't ready to be a head coach, but you have to fill the quota to move forward, right? I think Flores this year is the Rooney Rule guy, where everybody's going to interview him because he's a top candidate. Nobody actually intends on hiring him, but we're going to bring him in because he's a top candidate. He's the Rooney Rule guy. Next year, I don't think he'll be the Rooney Rule guy. I think he'll get a job next year. But I just think I don't like how his tenure, because he was the Steelers DC, last year?
He was like he was
an assistant.
He wasn't the DC.
Yeah.
And I believe him and Tomlin didn't get along. And out the door he went.
Listen, when you
got the
go
DC
being
job
the
in
dictator
Minnesota
in Miami to trying to be big dog with Mike Tomlin, and then you're like, yeah, see
and
later.
you realize Mike Tomlin is
his big dog. His big dog.
Buddy. So
we'll see.
If Minnesota brings him back, and I think Minnesota can still replicate what they did. Like, I hear what y'all are saying. The way the season ended is terrible, but a lot of people had them finishing third in that division. Some people had them last.
They had a great year.
To do what they did, they had a great year.
They had a great year in the grand scheme of things.
There's a lot to build off. There's a lot to build off. It just ended bad. And like I said, the Sam Darnold thing, yeah, he cost himself a lot of money. But to me, if I was his agent, my thing would be, so did Sam have his worst 2 games of the year? Or did the offensive line finally explode? Because like I said, you show me a quarterback that's getting pressure up the middle that'll play good.
No, I agree. But then
there's
a few factors.
Like,
there's
where's
a few
the
factors
line?
there.
Was Sam that bad, or was the line did the line contribute? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like Sam was fucking horrible, right? The offensive line was also fucking horrible. Kevin O'Connell's play calling was also horrible.
Bad because I mean, at what point, sir, do you not call a screen? Like, they're just blitzing you up the middle over and over.
Everything is screen or a draw. You're hoping
you have a legit top 10 running back sitting there. I believe he got Dylan scrolled on. I promise you, he didn't get more than 10 carries. I 13. Promise you.
And let me one of the funny part. 8 of those carries came when they were down like 14 points.
Like, you can't do that
towards the end of the game.
Like, you have to help Sam. Like you
Troy
have to help
Aikman
him.
was sitting there in the fourth quarter. Why are they running run plays right now? Shouldn't they be passing the football?
Like you have to help Sam. Like if you look at Sam's stat line, it doesn't even look that bad. Especially when you consider he got sacked 9 times.
But then when
the most yards in playoff history ever.
It's like the stats are cool, but if you're like, yo, ignore the stats real quick and just watch what happened.
That's like I say all the time. You actually watch the game, you go, man, Sam did not play good. And Matthew Stafford's numbers don't look as good as he played because he played amazing.
Yeah.
He played amazing in that game. So like I've been hearing people trash Sam since Monday night. And I'm just like, maybe it's me. Maybe we all know I'm the optimist here on the panel. I always see the sunshine. But I just don't think he played to the way that people talk about him getting kicked out of the league and not getting another job.
Yeah, no, that's a lot.
That's wild.
There's not 32 other quarterbacks better than him, right?
There's not.
There's absolutely not.
There's no world where there's 32 quarterbacks better than him.
So, Mike, what kind of contract would you give Sam?
The franchise tag. I think that's his number. About 35 million. I would give him 35 million for 2 or 3 years. Because I know, because I saw it this year, if I give him a competent offensive line and a good play caller, he's going to be successful. I know this. I've seen
Now
it.
Think about this. How many situations outside Minnesota have that?
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
But that's not Sam's problem.
I mean, it will be, but
it could.
But like,
you can't fault him for taking the money. Like, if you're going to pay him, you should know. If you're going to sign him to that money that I just said, I then know I have to give him. I have to have a line for him because he can't move. I know this.
You're going to need weapons,
and he holds on to the ball quite long too. Look, he's done that all year.
Those are the three things: weapons, offensive line, play calling. I think his only option really is the Vikings, because if you go to these, if you go to any of these other teams, they don't have that.
The funny thing is, Dylan, and not even joking, I think he would fit good on the Jets. I think he actually would, depending on who your OC is going to be. But I think he would fit well on the Jets because the Jets have an offensive line.
Let me tell you,
the Jets have weapons. The Jets have a running back. Like, he actually could be very good on the Jets as long as the Jets don't have an idiot calling plays.
Let me tell you what I think is going to happen with the Jets. Let me tell you. I pulled out my crystal ball.
Well, I know what your crystal. You told me what your crystal ball.
My crystal ball is Aaron Glenn is going to be the coach of the New York Jets, right? Josh McCown is going to be our offensive coordinator. Defensive coordinator, I really don't care. Because
it's going to be Aaron Glenn.
It's either going to be Aaron Glenn or whoever the fuck it is. Right? And it is what it is. Like, I don't care. I've seen Aaron Glenn with talent. We have some talent on defense. I think we'll be fine. Aaron Rodgers goes. Hopefully he fucking goes. God, I hope he goes. And Josh McCown has been Sam Darnold's mentor since the day he stepped into the NFL. Because when Sam Darnold was a rookie, McCown was his veteran. Was his veteran. Josh McCown was the starting quarterback the year before. Had them, blah, blah, blah. Josh McCown this year, his quarterback coach, great relationship, yada, yada, yada. It would make sense. Whereas, like, I would be fine. Make the number, whatever the number is. Don't overpay because I already know.
50, 60. You can't give him that.
No,
but
don't overpay.
35, 40. You wouldn't do 35, 40 for 2 years or 3 years?
I don't know if we could afford that. That's the problem.
I'll do 30 for 2 years.
That's a problem, right?
Like that 20 that you was throwing out, 20 is insulting. That's insulting.
But that's, again, I'm doing it out of, like, I know how bad Sam can be. That's it.
I say 30. I say 30 is just
right. Am I ready to fall in love with that again? I don't know. I'm probably not. But, like, I can see a world where he's back. If he doesn't come back, it's no skin on my back. Like, I'm not screaming for that to happen. If it happens, it happens. I'll embrace it. Cool. Just make sure we don't fuck him up again, because that's been my thing. We already wronged Sam once. Why would he want to come back to be wronged again? Right? It wouldn't be fair. The Raiders are the other team I've been throwing around. And I'm telling you right now, Anthony, you would fucking hate him. You would end up fucking hating him.
Because he doesn't move.
I don't care if Ben Johnson is your offensive play caller. There's a lot of things missing for y'all, and it would not work out. It would not work out. And it'll be the Jimmy Garoppolo thing all over again. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to bring this to the Super Bowl. You got Kyle Shanahan calling plays. You got Trent Williams at left tackle. You got Debo and George Kittle. No? All right, bet. Situations matter. Situations matter.
My problem, like, just with Sam Darnold on that team, I'm just thinking about those matchups against the Broncos, and I'm just like, ugh.
Cooked.
I just see struggle all over both of those matchups.
Nick Bonito fucking German suplexing him like he's fucking Brock Lesnar.
And one more thing before we move off of this game. Shout out to the Rams, too, because the Rams played.
Shout out to the Rams.
Yeah, shout out to the Rams.
That Rams defense is fucking good.
Yeah, that Rams defense is really good.
It's young.
They're young. They're young.
Jared Verse is nice.
Good. They don't know they're not supposed to be good yet. Jared Verse and that fat fuck white boy from FSU. Fucking good. Good. Jared Verse will be haunting Jalen Hurts next week.
Thanks for the segue, Dylan, as we move on.
I don't know about that.
Philly and the Packers. So I think I look at this game different from everyone else. Well, because to me, that 10-22 seems close. I don't think this game was particularly close at all. I don't think the Packers ever really had it. There was never a moment in this game that I thought Green Bay was going to win this game. Not a moment. Literally from the opening kickoff, there was never a moment where I was like, uh-oh, Green Bay might be in there. There was never a moment. I really watched that game and thought Philly was playing with their food the whole game. And never.
And he got Jordan Love playing like the way he played. I mean.
So we definitely differ. So I don't think the Packers could have like I thought the Packers had a chance because I think Philly should be fucking embarrassed. Because they had their chance so many times after these turnovers to just put their they took their foot off the neck. And they could have put this game away early. Played their backups and just went home. Too many times where 3 and outs, interception, and like so many times where I'm like, yo, this game could be fucking 34-10 right now, or 34-3.
It was particularly close. I don't think it was close.
Like,
at all.
I think like Philly was like they left the door open for a lot of this game, right? For a lot of this,
the Packers weren't walking through.
They were just doing everything wrong. Like, granted, the entire Packer wide receiving core got taken out on a fucking stretcher.
Exploded.
They absolutely exploded. Anybody who could get hurt got hurt. Like, it was a terrifying scene. I hope everybody's okay. But I was watching this game in the third quarter, and I'm just like, this game should either be like tied or Philly should be blowing them the fuck out. And I'm just confused. It makes me question, like, when Philly has to play this Ram team, are they just going to keep it like a slugfest for a little bit, or will they be able to run away with it when the opportunity presents itself? Because the opportunity will present itself. Mm-hmm. Like, Stafford is going to make a mistake, or the offense
he's going to throw a pick.
Yeah, like there's something's going to happen, and I don't know if I could trust this Eagle team to be able to take the ball and burst through the door and crack it open and be like, all right, see ya in Detroit.
Or in Philly.
Do you think Hurts was rusty?
Yes, I do. I think he played like someone who has not played in a couple weeks and honestly just came off of what clearly was a serious concussion because he was out for a couple weeks. So clearly that was a serious concussion. And I think
that's why I'm not killing him. That's why I'm not killing him.
I think he was rusty. Like,
and I did see a couple of these option plays where I'm like, Jalen, what the fuck are you doing? Like instead of running in a straight line, he decided to run up backwards and to the left and lose yards. I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like that's where I was just like, this Eagles team is unserious.
That's why I think they played, and like when you say it out, it sounds disrespectful to Green Bay, and it's not because Green Bay, I think it's a good team. I feel like Philly played down to their competition. Like I just not that Green Bay is
ultimately
not
is going to be what fucks them up.
But I have seen Philly. Philly has gotten up for competition, though.
That's what I'm.
I've seen Philly get up for competition.
I think the Rams and I know the Lions will bring the best out of Philly because they know that they're gonna have to play those games. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they respect the Rams because they blew the Rams out the first time. So that this game with the Rams scares me because I think Philly is again going to be like, these dudes ain't that good. And the Rams have the offense that will come up and will run away from them. So it scares me, but I also don't think like Saquon had a bad game and he still had 100 yards. So I don't think Saquon will play like that again. The Rams are terrible at stopping the run. I really feel like we're gonna just see a Saquon masterpiece next week. So that's what that's why I'm
just gonna throw for like 114 yards.
I'm not worried about Jalen Hurts. I'm not worried about the offense because I think Saquon's gonna go crazy next week. So does it concern me? Yes. Like the Eagles definitely could lose this game, but I'm not.
Eagles are a funny team to watch sometimes. They got all the receivers, but they just run Saquon down people's throats. They got Adrian Brown on the sidelines reading motivational books and shit.
Wouldn't you just give Saquon the ball? Wouldn't you just give him the
ball?
I would.
Acting the way that he acts on national TV. Like, he can't be there next year, right?
He's going to be there.
Like, you have to eventually start to look and be like,
do we not think he's losing his mind a little bit? Like,
when should we possibly think about moving on for any other reason besides him and Jalen Hurts might end up actually fighting at one point?
I tell you this: if they get to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, and that ball is not coming to him the way he wants, we need to watch that sideline because I do think it could pop off. It could pop off. So,
we may have a little Donovan McNabb TO situation happening right now.
Possibly.
We might actually have that. Because again, AJ Brown reading that book on the sideline is fucking horrendous. If you're Nick Sirianni, how are you letting that happen?
I think there's a little bit of trolling going on there too, but that is crazy.
How are we letting this happen, Sirianni? Again, fire Sirianni. I don't care how good this team is. Fire him. I hate him.
You hate him, but sadly, he's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Or he's got a fuck ton of talent.
He's still got to coach talent, man.
I have to say.
Yeah, you got to coach talent less sometimes.
Both. But how did you? So you was talking about Jordan Love, Anthony. What is your Jordan Love take?
No, he played awful. I mean, there's not much else to say. He just played awful. And there were some people even questioning, yo, is he worth the contract? Because sometimes you don't look it. I mean, I do think he's still a really good quarterback. I don't know if I wouldn't call him elite. Because again, he has his moments where he's and it's not just this game. I've seen a lot of Packers games this year. There have been a few times where it's like, yeah, he didn't look that great. And there have been times where Malik Willis looked better than him. More than one occasion. If we're going to be brutally honest and whatnot. But yeah, this was Jordan Love's time to show up, and he dropped the ball. I mean, I know the wide receiver room is just exploding left and right, but you can't come out here and still have this kind of performance. You got to do better than this.
There comes a point where it's like you have to try to force your hand, and you're going to throw.
That last pick that he threw. I mean, me and Dylan talk about it all the time. Like, we don't even count those picks when like you have to score a touchdown, and it's like, all right, I just have to throw it to the end zone and hope something good happens.
And there comes a point where it's like you eventually got to give a quarterback credit for doing what he's doing with the level of talent that he has. Like, let's talk about a healthy Packer wide receiver room.
It's pretty good.
Really, is it? It's really not that good. To be
when
honest.
Did Dobbs leave the game?
Third.
Was it Reed or Dobbs who went down with a concussion?
That I don't remember because
I don't remember which. It was Dobbs, but I think that was the second quarter because that was off. He almost scored, and then he didn't score. No, third quarter because they scored 3 because they kicked the field goal. So
because I think this Packer wide receiver room is like a C+, B-.
Really?
Like, I don't think it's very
Dobbs good.
I think Dobbs is all right. I don't think they're very
Watson
good.
Is good.
No, I don't think
it's an average to above average room.
I think Watson is your deep threat for speed. As a receiver, I don't think he's very good. I don't think he has reliable hands at all. I don't think he's a good route runner.
No, I agree. Watson was never really that good.
He was a project wide receiver out of North Dakota State when he came out. It's just he's got the tools, right? I said this to Anthony the other day. I was like, there's some people who come out, especially with quarterbacks, where people ignore the tape from the games just for like the physical tools and traits. Watson was one of those wide receivers out of North Dakota State when he got drafted, where it was just like not a great route runner, not really good like catching the ball, good at ball tracking. When he's got a deep ball, he's good at finding it. It's just, is he going to catch it or is he going to drop it? And I think Wicks is good, but they need a wide receiver one. They don't have a guy, and they could very much so use a guy. And I think that would open up the door for Jordan Love a little more. But for them to be where they are, with the talent that's available to him, and like I hate using the injury excuse as an excuse for like the play for the year because I don't think he had a bad year, but for him coming in off of the MCL injury in week 1 to immediately coming in trying to play, like there's all those things come into effect with it. I'm not going to kill Jordan Love. I think
they're really going to need a receiver. No.
He's a top 15 quarterback in this league with the potential to be a top 10. Like, get him a big name wide receiver. Get him a big body number 1 guy, and
get him AJ Brown.
Shit, if you can get him AJ Brown, you can go get him AJ Brown because that would be a dog.
Is he top 15?
I think so.
I think so. You don't think so, Anthony?
No, I'm not saying that. I had to think about that for a second.
You was thinking.
I know he's not in my top. I know he's not in my top 10. Then I had to think about 10 through 15 for a second. I'm like, is he in there?
Like I think that
I have to think about it.
Right. Like this to be going off. I think the ceiling is okay right now. Like top 15. Like at his best this year, top 15. I think he has potential to crack a 10 down the road.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's already.
He's just gonna get better.
15. I think he's already in the top 15. But we move on. We can talk about that bum Herbert if you want to.
Herbert did not have a good game, but there was a couple throws that just were not his fault. Like that one off the fucking tight end's chest.
That was not his
fault. That one was just horrendous. Where it's like, Jesus Christ. The Charger team we saw in this game was the Charger team I thought we were going to be seeing all year.
That is the Charger team that I thought we were going to see all year too.
This is the Charger team I thought.
That's a big credit to them. Big credit to them.
Big credit to
Quentin Johnson stinks. He needs to be off the team.
Johnson's fucking terrible. Boy, did he fool like the NFL this year. Like,
He fooled me. He had like 200 yards on us.
He had like that 6 or 7 game stretch where he like caught everything, and then he had like a 4 game stretch where he dropped everything again, and then he had like a stretch where he caught everything. He stinks. My boy Ladarius McConkey, he's really good. He's really good.
Yeah, he's a true. He's a true.
We like Lad McConkey, but this is what I said when they fucking hired Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator. I don't know how you're going to get the most out of Justin Herbert running the offense that Greg Roman runs. Like, Greg Roman's offense is literally predicated on just running the football and like play action, play action, play action. If you have a mobile quarterback, go. They didn't really use Herbert as the mobile quarterback much this year. Like, he can move, but like they didn't use him as a mobile quarterback. Apparently, no, he's an athlete. Stop it. They didn't use him like they used Kaepernick or Lamar. Like, he's not the athlete of Lamar, a little bit less of an athlete than Kaepernick, but he is an athlete. He can move. So, like, there was the interception that he threw where he did the play fake, rolled all the way right to throw across his body to the left side of the left sideline into, like, double coverage.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible play design.
Terrible. Are you sure that that's what the play was designed to do, or him?
I went through and I watched, like, all turnover-worthy throws in the next morning of that game. He literally rolled out, planted himself, saw it, and threw it like it was designed. Like, that was his first read.
He's like, an idiot, Dylan. That's what you saw.
No, I think you're being very like. Granted, like, again, he did not play a good game, but if that's your first read, like, that's a play design issue.
You're an idiot.
That's a play design issue, like, completely play design issue. And a lot of, like, the play calling from Roman this year gets hidden because the Chargers were able to run for 1 billion yards all year. They're able to just run for 1 billion yards with a stable of running backs. Like, yeah, let Roz be like, "Oh, we should have got Harbaugh. Should have got Harbaugh." Nobody, Harbaugh was never coming. But, like, say what you want. Harbaugh was never coming. He overperformed with this group of people on this Charger team. They need some help.
They're not a finished product.
They are not a finished product. I think they very much so overachieved. Like this, I don't think this. They should not have won more than 8 games this year. The way their roster is currently constructed. If they get another wide receiver, cool. That'll definitely help. Greg Roman can't be a play caller in the NFL.
Like, you can't tell me that team's better than Miami. That team's not better than Miami. That team's not better than Miami.
Yeah, they're better than Miami. Miami stinks.
Not better than Miami.
Yes, they are. Miami stinks.
Yes, they are. Miami stinks.
Miami's defense is.
I hate that fucking team so much.
Miami's defense is fucking horrendous. Miami's on like their 6th-string offensive line, and Tua all year has not been able to connect with Tyreek Hill at all. You take away the guy who literally almost cracked 2,000 yards last year, and you give him less than 1,000 yards for what, the first time in like 6 years.
He also was hurt this year.
Great, he came back and still couldn't find his receivers. Like, that Miami team stinks. Like, they're bad. Jalen Ramsey got cooked all year.
You hate.
No,
Mike, he was getting cooked.
He was getting cooked. I just think it's really funny.
He was getting cooked.
He has signed both, like, 2 times the largest contract a corner has ever got in the NFL, and then that same year just got roasted. It was bad. It was a bad time. And I just don't like how Mike McDaniel isn't getting, like, more shit for, like, completely losing that locker room. Completely losing that locker room. I don't understand that. Like the
Yeah,
players.
when's the last time they beat a team that was like above 500?
Who, the Dolphins?
Mm-hmm.
They don't beat teams with winning
I'm about to
records.
say, sadly, I'd really have to think about it.
The Dolphins don't beat teams with winning records.
They don't beat good teams.
And you guys used to give me shit, but like who you play matters. Because you go ahead and you put a team in the playoff who doesn't beat good football teams, and they have to play a good football team, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose just because of the level of talent they play, the level of talent they beat. All that shit matters. But yeah, no, this Chargers team stinks. Anthony thought this Chargers team was gonna win.
You also was leaning that way.
I was leaning that way, but I was like,
Meanwhile, I knew that they had no chance of winning that game because
I wouldn't say no chance. That's crazy. But you're also a Herbert hater.
they were never going to win that game.
Yeah, but like a 0% chance, Mike?
Zero. Okay, not zero. The only team that had zero chance of winning was Pittsburgh. But no, there was no fear in this game. We'll talk about it when we talk about next week. Kansas City better be ready to play. Kansas City better be ready to play because and Anthony hates CJ Stroud, but
for no reason.
You see on the screen.
But why does Kansas City have to get up?
Because you see that guy's name that's under CJ Stroud. You see that guy? That guy's a real.
Yeah.
That guy can.
I agree. I like Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon's a stud.
If Kansas City doesn't stop that guy, Kansas City's going to be in for a long day.
No, they're not.
I told you last week, and we can look it up. I said, if I know anything about playoff football, all my knowledge, you run the ball in the playoffs, you win in the playoffs. And you can go check it. I bet you at least 6 games? I bet you 5, or it might have went 6. The team that won the rushing yards won the game. It's a tale as old as time. And that's why I'm going to keep picking these teams winning games, and that's why I'm going to keep getting it right, because in the playoffs.
So you're going to pick the Texans over the Chiefs?
No, because I think Pacheco's going to have a good game. So that's how you cancel it out. But that does not mean that Mixon can't run for. I can absolutely see Mixon running for 130 and a tutter in that game. I absolutely can see it because that's how D'Amico Ryan wants to play. So, yeah, no, I could see Joe Mixon doing that, and I could see the Texans winning this game. I would give it 70-30 Chiefs, but that 30's there.
I was about to say, I can't see the Texans winning this game. Their offensive line stinks.
Their defensive line is...
Their defensive line's great. Offensive line, though.
The Chiefs' offensive line is not great.
Yeah, but they have Pat. But they have Pat. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, cool. Anybody can go ahead and bet against, but I've only felt like this a few times in my life. You bet against Pat Mahomes, you're probably gonna lose. You're probably gonna lose.
The thing to live off of.
All right, what do we got next?
Herbert stinks. 4 picks. He stinks. He's not that guy. He's not that guy. I've been saying it since this podcast started. He's not that guy. He's never going to be that guy.
Okay,
tell him why you mad, man.
We're going to keep him out here because he's big and he can run. Oh my God!
Get him.
He's not that guy. He's never been that guy at any point in his life. He's never been that guy.
Okay, don't do that.
Dylan, name me the big game he's won. Name it. What big game has he ever won?
I'd have to go back to college to do that.
That Jaguars game wasn't his fault, though.
That was absolutely not his fault. Absolutely not his fault. Brandon Staley shouldn't have been allowed to go into the locker room after that game. Yeah, and Mike, you know this. And you know this.
They scored 6 straight possessions after that.
Coming down scoring every single drive is not Justin Herbert's fault.
At some point, you got to run the ball.
See?
Oh, come on.
It's not on Herbert.
Now you sounded like me now.
And that's not on Herbert. That's not on Herbert. As much as you want to blame Herbert for that, you can't blame him for that.
Up by 8,000 points. At some point, you got to run the ball.
Kyle Shanahan and the Atlanta Falcons are up 28-3 in the Super Bowl.
At some point, you got to run the ball. You are running the ball down the Patriots' throat, and you just stopped. Like, at some point,
can't blame Matt Ryan for that.
I don't blame Matt Ryan for that game. I blame Kyle Shanahan for that game.
Do you blame Justin Herbert for that Jags game?
A little. A little bit, only because when it did get close and he had to make a throw, what happened?
He shouldn't have been in that situation.
But when it happened,
he shouldn't have been in that situation.
And they didn't get that big lead because of him.
Regardless of that, that's not the point in this.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, Brandon Staley was just like, we ain't running this ball. We not gonna run this ball. They not gonna catch us. Sunshine.
He's not that guy. So unless Harbaugh is really the quarterback whisperer, we're gonna wash, rinse, repeat this for the next 3 years.
I'm not the quarterback whisperer. He's not.
So then we won't even watch, rinse, repeat because they won't even be in the playoffs.
No, they'll make the playoffs.
I wouldn't go that far.
Coach a good team, but he's not the quarterback whisperer because he has this loser calling plays for him. I'm so anti-Greg Roman, it's crazy.
He also
again, all this hatred aside, I mean, again, nobody wants the Chargers to do bad more than me, but at the end of the day, it's like outside of McConkey, the wide receiver room was absolutely damn near abysmal.
Poo-poo.
It was just downright shit. And they still literally made the postseason. And Herbert had some really good stretches of football this year. So at the end of the day, if I'm the Chargers, again, get this man some help. We've seen what Herbert can do when he has a good wide receiver. We saw what he did with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams at the end of the day. They scored. They hit big on McConkey. They just need to ban Quentin Johnson from the stadium. They need to. I don't know what they're going to do with all those other guys. They stink too. Just completely get rid of all those motherfuckers and bring in some new people. Give T. Higgins a blank check. I don't know what they got to do, but just retool that wide receiver room. They're good to go. It's the same thing for the Broncos, honestly. The Broncos and Chargers have the same issues, if you ask me.
The Broncos need wide receivers.
No, they could use a better supporting cast behind Sutton, but I wouldn't be super worried about it.
The Broncos are
not to the extent of LA, but they still could use some better skill players. Outside of Sutton, that receiver room is guy.
The Broncos are a great we'll stop the pass team against a team that's not the Bills, but they're not a team that can stop the run. Their linebackers are weak. So the Broncos need a little bit of help there.
On to the Broncos and the Bills. Justin Herbert stinks.
Boy, did this game get out of hand. We were like, oh my God, the Broncos started
oh boy. Can we go back?
But
Go back in the chat. And when the Broncos scored that first touchdown, I said, oh, the Broncos came to play. And Anthony was like, "Oh, here we go."
He goes, "I always believed in Bo Nix. I
Here we
always
go."
believed in Bo Nix."
And then I literally said, "But what happens if the Bills win 31-10?" And wouldn't you know, the Bills won. The damn Broncos had to go for it on fourth down and ruined. They were in field goal range and ruined it.
To be fair, though, it would have been 31-10, but they missed the field goal.
Yeah, the game went exactly how I said it was gonna go.
It absolutely was not Bo Nix's fault at all either. Absolutely not. And
the Broncos came to play.
all those damn drops, those receivers failed Bo Nix, including Sutton. All those damn drops, man.
The Broncos came to play, and they're just not good enough. Like, it's both things can be true. Like, the Broncos didn't lay down, they fought, they made Buffalo work, but they were never going to win this game. This game also, there was never a point in this game that I thought Buffalo was ever going to lose. At no point.
This game was just everybody on Buffalo was wide open all game. It was fucking insane. It was so insane to watch this team just do whatever the fuck they wanted.
To a very good Bronco defense.
Like a very good Bronco defense. Everybody did whatever the fuck they wanted. I watched Mac Hollins AI step over a DB. Over Surtain. He did the AI step over Ty Lue, over Pat Surtain, the best cornerback in football. Mac Hollins.
Like,
you want to talk about bad play calling? The fucking offensive play calling was brutal too in this game. Like, what the hell was Sean Payton calling?
Oh, Sean Payton? Oh, yeah.
For the Broncos.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
I'm not saying the play calling for the Bills is bad.
No. I'm like, bro, they're literally down like 2 scores and they just run, and then throw a pass on third down. Like, what are we doing here? Why are you running when you're down 2 scores? And there's like 10 minutes left in the fourth.
Buffalo definitely, Sean McDermott definitely outcoached Sean Payton in that game.
Absolutely.
To Dylan's point, everything was easy. Everything. Like, the Broncos fought. They fought. Them guys showed pride and they fought, but they were fighting a battle that they
Mike,
they just weren't ready.
Before we continue, Roz says this thing about how all of the top coaches in the NFL are offensive minded.
I saw him say that. And I did go to fact check him. He was correct. He was very specific.
Very specific.
He was very specific in that keyhole that he put out there. But continue with your point.
How many of the coaches that won this weekend are offensive-minded head coaches?
1, 2. Do you consider? I don't know what you consider Harbaugh.
Harbaugh was a special teams coach.
I don't know.
He's just a head coach.
I'm saying, I don't know what you consider.
He is just a head coach. He has no label because he was a special teams guy.
But 2
out of there's 6 games.
2.
6 games.
Dan Quinn.
Battle of defensive coordinators. Defensive coordinator.
Defensive
coordinator. Special teams guy. I guess Nick Sirianni's offensive.
I consider him offensive. And then Sean McVay is offensive.
Sean McVay. And then let's take a look at the 2 teams that are on a bye. Andy Reid,
offense, the GOAT.
Whatever
Dan Campbell is. I don't know what.
I thought he was defensive.
I would think of him as defense, but who knows?
Yeah.
So
there are more defensive head coaches or non-offensive minded head coaches coaching in the playoff right now than offensive minds.
Because you know who has an offensive coach and his team stinks? Me.
Ross is there. We can't do a defensive hire. Blah 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 blah. But then when we hire Matt Nagy, he could be punching the air.
That's why I want y'all to get an offensive coach. So I want y'all to get Cliff Kingsbury so bad, so that can fail and he can be miserable.
And I'll just be sitting here like I told you.
Yeah.
Offense or nothing. Offense or nothing. No. Go get an adult in the room.
Like, yes, he has a point. The Jets do tend to hire defensive coaches, but like, it's not like these Jet hires have been bad hires.
They're not bad hires.
Every time the Jets have done this, that guy was the guy everybody wanted. Like Rex Ryan was the guy everybody wanted.
The guy.
Saleh was the guy that everybody
Saleh was the right hire. Like there's going to be a team that hires Saleh as the head coach this year.
Todd Bowles was the guy.
No, he wasn't. I disagree.
Todd Bowles was a hot commodity at that moment.
He was, but the way we brought him in was not very guyish.
That's not the point, though. My point is when they hired him, that was the guy.
He was the candidate.
Like it wasn't.
He was the candidate.
Hire. Like so, Roz doing this thing is. Well, he's king hindsight anyway. But
king hindsight. The thing is, Saleh may get a head coaching job this time around.
If not, he'll get it next year.
He's going to be a better coach because of what he learned. And like, I hope that for him because I'm a Saleh guy. I was pounding the table for Saleh.
I still don't think it was Saleh's fault what happened.
Hindsight, I said it real time. We made a mistake. That was bad.
I said it in real time.
Yeah. And let me tell you a little secret. I think Ulbrich being horrendous as a head coach vilified Saleh.
I think
it helped him.
Yeah.
I think it helped him look better than what he already was on top of it. So take that as you will. If he's not the DC of the fucking Niners next year, he will be a head coach.
He's going to be the DC of the Packers. That's the fear.
He's not interviewing. They haven't brought him in to interview for that because they haven't fired that coach.
It's coming.
I wouldn't take that Packer job either way. I'd be like, yo,
that's his best friend. That's his best friend.
So is Shanahan. Shanahan is also one of his best friends. And that was his job. All of these guys who got head coaching jobs after him inherited his team. The Texans head coach inherited Saleh's team for a year, and then was like, "Yo, I'm leaving."
But as it turns out, D'Amico's a coach.
D'Amico was a good coach too.
D'Amico's a coach,
But D'Amico was one of Saleh's guys.
He took all of 5 seconds to realize, oh no, D'Amico Ryans is one of those guys. Like he's a coach.
Yep.
Wherever if I was because having to take the Jaguars job,
there's some shit there. It needs help. Trent Baalke is the one who needs to go. Like their GM sucks, but. I don't know. I don't know about that.
I don't know if Saleh would work in Chicago either because he would just be stepping into what he just left. It'd be the same toxic ass fan base. It'd be the same quarterback that needs development. It would be it'd be the same thing. So I don't think the Bears fit.
There's not really a great situation for him.
New Orleans is a mess.
Mm-mm.
New Orleans is a mess. Dallas?
He's interviewing for that Dallas job.
Dallas is interesting because, again, this is going to sound. He's not going to stand up to Jerry Jones. He's just going to let Jerry do whatever he wants. So
exactly, and Jerry doesn't fire people.
He could be a puppet.
It sounds wrong, but you're right. So when McCarthy wasn't brought back to the Cowboys, I asked Steven, I was like, when's the last time a coach didn't get fired but became a free agent organically? You know who the last coach was?
Jimmy?
Jason Garrett.
Oh yeah, they just didn't bring Garrett back.
They just didn't bring him back. They just didn't bring him Jerry back. Doesn't fire coaches.
He should have fired Jason Garrett.
He should have fired Jason Garrett 10 years before he did.
Well, Jason Garrett should
I
have.
feel like Jason Garrett was the coach of the Cowboys my entire life.
Like, I don't know how Jason Garrett got to keep that job that long, but Mike McCarthy doesn't. It's crazy. Is crazy.
So Saleh would be able to coach the entire length of his contract. He would do wonders for that defense.
Oh my God, what he would do with Michael Parsons is scary.
It's just the offensive side of the ball. I don't know how he would do that.
They have to get help. Listen, you hire Saleh, you go draft Genty, and Dak gets healthy, and hey, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
It's the formula right there. That's the formula right there. But yeah, Dallas Saleh's a good.
Because I'll tell you right now, Deion not taking that Dallas job.
I don't think Deion's going to.
Deion is about to pull the illest Dan Hurley of all time.
Deion is about to make Colorado pay the whole state tax to him. The whole state budget's going to Deion. Because I don't think because there's no world where they'll get Shador, and I just don't think he's going to go to the NFL unless he's coaching Shador, and it ain't going to be the Cowboys.
Shiloh.
He can get Shiloh wherever he goes, because Shiloh
getting drafted.
You think he's going to go? I don't think he's an NFL player.
I think he can.
Maybe he's a special teams guy.
I think he'll get his run on special teams, but he'll eventually get there. Like, I think he's a 4th, 5th rounder. And that's safe to take a thumper safety. That's the perfect spot to take him.
He'd be getting cooked, Dylan.
Again, he's a thumper.
He's a thumper that don't like to tackle. He just likes to hit.
He's not a good tackler.
He don't like to.
He's a thumper.
He just likes to hit people.
He's like LaRon Landry.
He's not,
except not as buff.
He's not. He doesn't like to tackle. He just likes to hit people.
If Shiloh Sanders decided he was just going to take a ton of steroids, then he would just be LaRon Landry.
Well, maybe if he gets in these NFL weight training programs, maybe he'll turn into Giannis.
Maybe. Because all I think is those Dewan and LaRon Landry, those fucking Trenbolone twins, just fucking juiced out of their mind.
All fucking muscle. No
first team, all fucking bicep.
No, love it. Just a giant muscle walking around.
Biceps the size of my head.
Just veins, oh God.
Hitting people across the middle. All they did was get cooked and hit people.
Knock the snot out of you, though.
Give up touchdowns and just hit people.
That's what I say. Don't like to tackle, just like to hit people. That's what Shiloh is to me.
They'd fit perfect on the Jets. Come on, Shiloh.
He just likes to hit people. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm with you, Dylan. I think Deion is really just using this to get more money, as he should. Because let me tell you, if Deion stays, Colorado's going to be in the playoff next year.
Yeah, they got a good quarterback.
They have a quarterback coming, and they just stole that kid from Georgia. Colorado is going to, if Deion is there next year, Colorado is going to be a problem. if Deion
for them to be like, yo, Deion leaving Colorado for fucking USC. Hell yeah, fight on.
That's not happening. That's where Deion needs to be. Is USC.
I was just saying that's not happening. If it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen next year. What's more prime time than fucking Hollywood? Than Southern California? What's more prime time than Southern California? You tell me, Mike.
There's a few schools where Deion would be absolutely perfect.
What's more prime time than fucking Hollywood?
Him coaching at fucking Florida State.
He hates Florida State.
Now, but you asked me what would
he
be
will
more
never coach there.
Him coach being at Florida State, him being at Miami, like him being at Miami would, as Anthony would say, would feed families.
What fits the primetime label more? South Beach or Hollywood?
South Beach.
Hollywood, Mike.
South Beach.
Well, I also don't think he would coach there.
No, I don't. There's no chance he would do that.
No,
Even
I
though
think
he hates Florida
he will
State right
never
now.
coach FSU. He will never coach Miami.
Yeah, even though he hates Florida State right now, it's in his blood. He will never go to it's in his Dylan, it's in the blood. I hate Florida State. I will never root for Florida State. Never. I hate North Carolina, Dylan. I will never root for North Carolina ever. Nothing.
What if
My
Coach Huger ends up
child.
coaching in North Carolina one day?
Hey, then he's the ops. Then he's the ops.
You're gonna be texting Coach Huger before every game. Fuck you, I hate you.
He's the ops. Can't do it.
Shout out to Coach Huger.
Not that team. And Miami, but no, fuck it. Hey, this is speak on. We can say it. Miami stinks. So
Miami does
they're
stink.
not keeping that coach. So
Didn't his boy step down?
yes, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. He
Yeah.
retired.
He retired.
And the interim coach, they stink.
Stink.
So we could be making a trip, Dylan. We could be
So it goes to South Beach.
could be going to South Beach. That would be great.
I'll tell you what, the coolest thing about going to watch Coach Huger was after the fact being able to tell him about how his team was missing free throws. That was so much fun to be like, yo, do your kids fucking make free throws or what?
And him co-signing it. and him co-signing
Like,
it.
I know.
I don't know what's wrong with them. I'm telling them make free throws, the game is over. Dylan sitting here with his. How much did you put on it? Like $1?
I did not. I put like $1 on it.
$1 on the over under, and it went from an easy win to Dylan sitting there stressing about because they just kept missing free
Because
throws.
I took -8.5.
and they were up by like 14, and then they were up 12.
Then they got to like 10, and I'm like, and then I'm like, Mike, they're missing free throws. They're missing free throws.
free throw after free throw after free throw.
I was like, I'm about to throw fit. I'm about to be run down there. I'm about to fight someone.
Oh man, that was a good time. We had fun that day.
We did have fun.
We had fun that day. Car ride was fun. Everything was fun.
Taught Mike Ortiz how to use Zelle like an adult.
What's left? The Ravens won by $1 billion. That was the best game of the weekend.
No, this was the best game.
No, you're the mouth.
Oh yeah,
I said.
Yeah, Russell Wilson stinks. Before we do that, I didn't want to ask for an apology in the group chat. I did actually, but I want one
because Anthony started talking crazy.
I did. I think you both owe me an apology.
Was I not doing that in the chat though?
You did, but I want one on the
I was
pod
paying.
now.
Russ was trash. Dylan was right. Russ was indeed not cooking at all.
Russ stinks.
At all.
Russ stinks.
I don't know if he stinks yet, but he has fallen out of top 15. He's been
out of top 15.
That ship has sailed.
You can't say, oh, he's fallen out of top 10 when he hasn't been top 15 in fucking 5 years.
He was top in the middle of the season. He was top 15.
No.
Season. When they were cooking, he absolutely.
I'm going to tell you a secret. You thought Russ was cooking. He was just putting the food in a microwave. That's not cooking. That's not cooking. You thought he was doing something.
That, Dylan, was a great line. I must give you that.
Bang, bang, bang.
Shit like that.
Just putting that shit in the microwave. That's all. He had y'all fooled. Not me, though.
Even so much so that I was like, man, these division games are scary. And the division games are still scary because they know each other very well. But the Ravens.
Never a doubt. Never a doubt.
As I say over and over, if we're handing out apologies, when does Derrick Henry get one?
I gave one last week.
When?
I gave one last week.
Give the Hulk the ball and good things happen. I promise you right here, right now, if Derrick Henry averages 22 carries in these playoffs, they will win the Super Bowl. They will win because you give him the ball, he's going to run you into dust. Like, and oh man, like, and anybody could get Mika Fitzpatrick. I would have never thought that Mika would have gotten on that highlight reel. Oh man,
Derrick Henry has put some all-time like elite safeties on a highlight reel.
just
Remember when he put Earl Thomas into the fucking Earth's crust like fucking 6 years ago?
There's a Hall of Fame safety gone. Put him through the ground.
He spun Earl Thomas around and choke slammed him into the fucking crust
while running. All in
while running, like peak like 20 miles an hour.
like I don't think people understand. And Derrick Henry is different. Like Mika, I hated had to be you. Which stiff arm was worse, that one or the Goddard one?
Ooh, the Goddard one was tough because he stiff armed him like 4 different times.
Yeah, he did.
I had to the Goddard one. Definitely Goddard one.
That one.
He straight bullied that. He bullied that motherfucker.
What he did to that dude is what I do to my children when I want them to leave me alone. Go away. That's a tough look.
Derrick Henry just one hit acquitted Mika. Just pow, you're done. Out the way. Get out the way. Oh man. If the Ravens give him the ball, the Ravens are gonna win. When you don't like, this is what you fear, because if Derrick's running well and Lamar's running well and Lamar's got that read option cooking, you cannot stop them. You can't stop them because you're gonna guess wrong every time, because as soon as they started focusing on Lamar to start the game, they were focusing on Derrick. That was Mike Tomlin. I could tell Mike Tomlin's strategy. Mike Tomlin's strategy was, I'm gonna make Lamar beat us with his legs because Lamar don't like to run no more. So I'm gonna make him beat us with his legs. And then Lamar started beating them with his legs. So it was like, all right, guys, start focusing on Lamar. And guess what? Derrick started running crazy on, like, you can't beat Lamar.
We watched Mike Tomlin turn to Doc Rivers in real time. It was fucking wild.
That meme was terrible. There was nothing I could do to defend him. There was nothing I could do.
And I'll take fucking Mike Tomlin to coach my team tomorrow.
That was my only defense. That was my only defense. You'd still take him in a minute. You take him tomorrow, though.
Tomorrow.
But man, Mike is having a rough week. Oh,
and when do the Steelers start to move on from fucking George Pickens?
He's got to go. He's got to go.
He's got to go.
Offense is going to be in shambles.
His talent ain't worth the headache.
He's got to go. He's got to go. Like, the disrespect is crazy. Like, you got to, like, he's not that good for that level of disrespect that he's throwing out here. He's not that good. Because I promise you, he's a number 2 on a lot of teams in this league. So, like, you ain't that good, brother, because I saw you dropping passes in that game against Baltimore. I saw Baltimore clean up. You had chances, and you did. Russ put the ball where it needed to be, and you didn't get the job done. So, like, the crazy talk from him is wild. And what's even wilder is this is now a trend with Pittsburgh. Like, it's a trend. It's a thing.
Pittsburgh is really good at finding wide receivers
that are crazy.
They have found, like, I could probably name like 8 to 10 wide receivers that they've had that were fucking awesome. And then like half of them they had to let go because of fucking wild shit. Because of wild shit.
The dude on the Bears, Chase Claypool.
Chase Claypool, idiot.
Crazy.
Absolute idiot. Juju they let walk because he was immature. Antonio Brown was a fucking nutcase. Mike Wallace became a nutcase and had to fucking go.
Is crazy.
What happened to Martavius Bryant?
Him too.
Incredibly talented.
Him too.
He couldn't stay off the.
Did he go to jail? Oh yeah, the weed, man. That was his problem. Oh yeah, I remember those Stephen A. segments.
Like, Pittsburgh really has an eye. Mike Tomlin has an eye for talent at wide receiver. He does not have an eye for character, which is crazy because these dudes is crazy.
And what's worse is we know Mike Tomlin to be like this really good coach, and he just lets these guys do this until he just can't.
Until
He'll sit there,
until it's just,
I will let the talent do what they're going to do until I can't take it anymore. Until Antonio Brown is going live in the locker room after playoff losses.
Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, because what I think it is that Mike Tomlin truly believes in letting the locker room handle situations like that. And if no one in the locker room is checking that because he's the all-star receiver, it's going to turn into what, like, all these guys just become this because there's always just one of them. If you notice, there's always just one of them. So there's never a threat. There's like, because even right now, they can't get rid of Pickens because their offense will be in shambles unless they go get another receiver. So he can do whatever he wants because who's going to check him?
Yep.
Who's going to check him?
There's no vet. There's no vet wide receiver to talk to him.
That's what Mike Williams was supposed to be.
And he'd been there for a cup of coffee. So Pickens could be like, sure.
It's too far gone.
It's too far. Najee Harris, he's young. Russ, nobody likes Russ. Nobody likes Russ. Like defensively, TJ. Like in the Antonio Brown days, you had
a veteran
respected veterans all up and down the roster,
and that didn't give a fuck, and would get like fuck. We've heard Ryan Clark talk about how they would check Antonio Brown, like, "Yo, all right, all right, and then when all them guys was gone and it was just him, that's when Antonio Brown just went crazy.
Because they had all those vets, and then they had guys like Joey Porter on the coaching staff, who would also be like, I'll fuck you up. I'll never forget that fucking Bengals playoff game where Joey Porter was out there trying to fight players. Single-handedly cost AJ McCarron a fucking starting quarterback job. Shout out to AJ McCarron. Loved AJ McCarron.
So yeah. So I mean, Dylan, you can have your moment.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, you'll be happy to know, as we're recording this, the Nets are down 40.
I know
to the Clippers, which is
God damn.
Anthony, it's 75-35 in the third quarter.
What the fuck?
Like, I don't know what's going on.
Damn, did you send them a message or some shit?
No, Sean Marks and the team are just saying out loud that they're tanking, and I'm like, you're not being subtle anymore. You're not being subtle. What I don't understand is we sat all these guys tonight. We could have lost to the Clippers anyway. We should have sat them last night against the fucking Trailblazers. Lose that game. Play them all today. Lose this game. Be in a great spot. But no. No, Ben Simmons like, oh, we gotta shut the fuck up and drive the tank, man. Shut the fuck up and drive the tank. If I want your opinion, I'll ask you your opinion. Just drive the fucking tank. Take me to the promised land. I'm doing a good job losing games.
How do you have 35 points in 3 quarters?
You want to know how? Because Cam Johnson's not playing. Cam Johnson's not playing. Because we beat the Trailblazers last night because fucking Cam Johnson had to fucking erupt again. And I'm just like, we need to just trade him. Just trade him. Like, what's happening right now is music to my ears. It's lovely. It's lovely. We can have shit like this all the time if Cam Johnson just was traded.
It's just epic level. Just loser energy.
We love
epic
it.
Levels,
we love
epic.
The problem is we're not being subtle. We're being open. And Sean Marks was just like, hey, our vision for the year may not be conducive to winning. And I'm like, you can't say that, Sean. You can't say that out loud. That's when they start to take shit. That's when we get investigated.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, because Cooper Flag is not even eligible this year, right?
No, he is.
Well, I mean, he's worth taking.
Yeah, but it's not going to guarantee you're going to get him. You still have to like.
That's the part, Anthony.
There's four guys in this draft that are very fucking good. 4 guys that are very fucking good. You're tanking for that because Dylan Harper is a dog. Dylan Harper out of Rutgers is a fucking dog.
Say his name sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar with.
He's Ron Harper's son.
Oh, I've heard he's very good. I have not watched.
Dog.
I've heard he's good though.
Ace Bailey, dog. And VJ Edgecombe, dog. Like, those are all guys I'm like, cool. There we go. We like this. Any of those 4, I am perfectly fine. We're at a nice spot. Or you use that pick to trade. To get a guy like De'Aaron Fox.
Or Zion Williams.
Or you could get Zion by trading other shit.
How happy would you be if you were able to trade T-shirt man and maybe Cam Thomas for Zion?
I don't think.
I don't know if that money works, but
yeah, Cam Thomas wouldn't be able to go on that. It would have to be T-shirt boy. Honestly, it would probably have to be Claxton too, and I wouldn't be mad.
I was going to say, would you be okay with trading Claxton for Zion, who apparently James thinks stinks?
I'm okay with trading Claxton. Like, I like Nick Claxton a lot. He's grown. His ceiling is what he is. He's never going to be better than what he is right now. So you can move on. Like, it's fine. Just Zion. If we were to trade for Zion right now, Zion, go eat some White Castle. Don't play.
Wow.
Hang tight. Once the season's over, get into shape. I'll see you next year. You and De'Aaron Fox can have fun next year. Because Swiper wants out.
Does he? Because Doug Christie got them boys playing.
Swiper wants out.
Jesus, Celtics got rocked by the Raptors. Jesus.
It's a full moon, man. It's a full moon. Dead clock is right twice a day.
Yeah. We will take no stock in that loss.
None. Absolutely none. So my only question, wow, my God, James Harden is just infuriating. My question for this game is, did Tampa lose this game or did Washington steal it? Did Washington win it?
Washington stole it. Washington.
Washington. Tampa didn't play bad. They played a good game. Just Washington was the better team.
Turnover at the end of the game was just like, what the fuck are they doing?
That's a tough turnover.
It's just, but it also was like, Washington could have just kicked the field goal.
That
beforehand. Too. That's where it's like,
yeah, they made it closer than it needed to be.
My favorite thing about this weekend was Anthony saying that Dan Campbell is influencing the minds of these other head coaches. that actually like made me laugh a lot. And I'm just like, oh no, because Dan Campbell again. When do we stop saying, oh, Dan Campbell's going 4th down? That's cute. When are we going to start saying it's irresponsible?
I'm already there, Dylan. I'm already there.
I've been saying this for 2 years now.
That's what Dan Quinn was doing this game.
Old conservative, old school Mike hates going for it on 4th
Bro,
down.
I said last Thanksgiving, not 2024 Thanksgiving, 2023 Thanksgiving, where Dan Campbell didn't punt a single time all game. I was like, it's cool now, but when he starts losing games because he keeps going for it on 4th down, people are going to be pissed. And then what happened? He got to San Francisco, kept going for it on fucking fourth down, and lost.
And we were all like, bro, relax.
It's okay.
Like, the punter gets paid too. It's okay. Like, let him do his job.
So this was a great game. Baker had a run in this game.
Did it not play out how I said to? Did
You
it not
said,
play out?
I'm going to wait because that game's not going to get good until the second half anyway.
Yes, there's no need to even watch the first half of that game. Who cares? The good stuff is going to be the second and the fourth quarter. It's going to get crazy.
Jaden Daniels has arrived. That kid has arrived.
He has. But, Anthony, I want you to remember this. He is a rookie. And there's a very good chance that next year he won't play like this because NFL coaches are going to adjust to him. And then in his third year, that's when we can properly see how good he is, because then he gets to adjust to the adjustments.
And the schedule he played this year was also very favorable.
As long as it's not CJ Stroud bad next year, I'm fine.
CJ Stroud wasn't bad. That's the problem.
That's the
I don't want to hear it. But at the end of the day, it's like, so what was the schedule this year? What division they faced again? They faced the NFC South,
the NFC East.
What was the other division they had to face in the AFC again? They faced the AFC North.
Yeah. The Browns, the Bengals.
The Bengals were a good team.
And when they played them, the Bengals were horrendous. They dropped 38 on the Bengals.
The defense was horrendous, Dylan. Not the whole team.
They beat the dog shit out of the Bengals.
Winning 38-33 is not beating the dog shit out of a team, Dylan.
They beat the dog shit out of the defense. They scored 38 points. They didn't punt.
Every team was beating the dog shit out of the defense.
That's what I said.
Cardinals stink. Browns stink. That Ravens game was a very competitive game. Panthers stink. They shouldn't beat the Bears. NFC East matchup. Those are always competitive. That Steelers game, super competitive. They didn't play that well against the Eagles. That was a bad game. I don't know how the fuck they lost to the Cowboys.
Lost this game on bullshit.
Yeah, it was bullshit. Titans stink. Saints actually played them pretty well. That was a good game they beat against the Eagles, regardless of who was playing, because Pickett still played well. That was a really good Sunday night football game against the Falcons. And beat the Cowboys again.
Like there was let's see how many wins against the bad team that they had here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 wins against bad teams.
Hey, you play who's in front of you, Dylan.
Again, that's not always going to be the case. Like every year, your schedule is going to play a different division, and it's going to be tougher on you every year. And like, I'm not saying the Commanders are going to be bad, but like, you play bad teams, you're going to look great. Like how you play against them matters.
They're playing the NFC North and the AFC West next year.
That's tough. Those are two very tough divisions. They are two divisions that are very opposite of the ones that they played. They'll beat the Ravens.
Yeah, that's gonna be
it.
So we can wrap up Wildcard Weekend. I thought it was a very good weekend.
It was.
It was.
And let's Let's get right into it. We don't have to play around here, folks. We know what you're here for. We know what we're here for. Let's talk about the main event for next weekend. Ravens, Bills. Which, before we came on the air, I looked, Dylan, we might get a snow game. We might get a snow playoff game. So
I like that. I like that Commanders Lions game too.
I do too, but we know what the main event is, Anthony. We know.
We also know who the MVP is.
Sunday, we're all going to.
Anthony's dumbass said this game is going to determine the MVP. The MVP has already been decided.
Yeah, it's already voted for.
Like, they already vote for it. This game has literally no bearing on the MVP at all. At all. And
whoever wins MVP, you'll look back at whoever wins MVP, you'll look back at this game and be like, I see why that person won.
That's not true at all, because this game has no bearing on that because it's a regular season award.
It's just going to drive the narrative. That's all it's going to do.
It's a regular season award. Like, that's why it's like, no, Anthony, shut up.
Only person in NFL history to have no teammates at the Pro Bowl.
Can we stop with that narrative?
Who cares? The Pro Bowl doesn't matter.
That narrative is not.
So they're just lying. So they're just lying.
Josh Allen is not out here with
bums,
plumbers, and handymen that he picked up on the streets of Buffalo.
That's not what the statistic. That's not what.
Anthony,
but you're treating it as if Josh Allen has fucking bums.
James Cook had 16 touchdowns this year, Anthony. 16.
Did James Cook make the Pro Bowl this year? Did he make the Pro Bowl this year?
He had the same amount of touchdowns this year.
He did it because he's in a conference with Derrick Henry. But that doesn't mean he.
You know what that means, right?
It doesn't.
But who cares about the
fucking? But he's not. But he's not as good as Henry. I mean, at the end of the day, I keep trying to tell Dylan. I kept trying to tell Dylan this. Dylan don't want to listen to nobody. I keep telling him there's a difference between having a real good running back and a running back who just and then you have a running back who just runs over people. Like those are two different running backs.
They're two different
running backs.
I can't ask Derrick Henry to play the way that James Cook plays, and I can't ask James Cook to play the way Derrick Henry plays. Derrick Henry is like fucking 4 inches taller than fucking James Cook and like 60 pounds heavier than James Cook. They're different running backs. I'm not going to ask James Cook to run a guy over. That's not how he's going to do it. Will he get right by him on a juke move? Absolutely. Is he a better in the fucking pass game? Absolutely. This guy last year was third in the NFL in total yards from scrimmage. Tied the franchise record for fucking rushing touchdowns in a season. Had the same amount of rushing touchdowns as Derrick Henry this season. The only reason he doesn't have more touchdowns is because the Bills started using the tush push. That's the only reason he doesn't have fucking 20 touchdowns. He probably would have broken the record, to be honest.
Which, by the way, Buffalo figuring out how to do that is scary.
But we devalue Jalen Hurts' tush pushes, but not Josh Allen's tush pushes.
I don't.
Because those are two different quarterbacks.
I devalue them all. They all stink.
They don't stink. They don't stink.
Like quarterback sneaks for a touchdown. Sick.
6 points.
I devalue that. Like Jalen Hurts gets taken out of all MVP conversations because his rushing touchdowns are inflated because he does a 1 yard sneak.
Stop it.
No, like
you can't stop it.
You can't, but like it's so much more in it. It's not him though. That's the thing. It's not him.
It is him because if it was that easy, everyone would do it.
The problem is they have idiots.
That is true.
But the problem is they have idiots like they don't do it right.
So again,
And
if
it's
it
not
was that easy, everyone would.
the people pushing behind don't push forward, they push down. I watched the Giants all last year try doing that.
You're saying Mike's point in different ways.
And literally, they are pushing Daniel Jones down into the fucking floor and not forward.
So again,
Like, it's called a
they're not holding Jalen Hurts accountable for that. Like, they can't do what he
I'm
does.
giving Jalen Hurts credit on a touchdown when he's getting pushed from behind forward. Like, no.
Yes.
No.
No one
And it's why Jalen Hurts will never get value. Like, he'll never win an MVP because
people like you think that, it doesn't count. It's not real, but no one else in the league can do it.
I watched Josh Allen do it.
Okay.
I watched Jacoby Brissett do it. Jacoby Brissett is the one who started this.
And where is he?
He's a backup.
Why isn't Jalen Hurts a backup?
I'm not sure how this is
because
relevant.
Jalen Hurts is better than him. That's why.
But again, this all started because of Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett is the reason the tush push is a thing. You know that?
Again, if it's so easy and he invented it. Cool.
You know who also does it well? Marcus Mariota. He does it so well. They take Jaden Daniels out of the game to run that for him.
And still, here we are. They do it once or twice a game.
Most teams do. It's there. Like, it's used. The Eagles are the one team that'll do it 6 times a game.
You can try to devalue Jalen Hurts all you want.
Well, the thing is, I'm not devaluing Jalen Hurts. I'm devaluing the tush push. And the reason why I'm saying it is because Anthony also has devalued the tush push, but is using it in his argument for Josh Allen. Because
I didn't say anything about the tush push so far. I always thought those Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl now. That's literally all I was talking about.
We had a conversation in the group chat about it, and you said it's different. It's completely different. It's different. It's not.
Well, yeah, because one quarterback's better than the other. At the end of the day, that's why it's different.
1-yard play.
Yes, it does for me.
It has nothing to do with anything on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because even when you take away the tush push, I mean, because even if you take away the tush push, I'm still
touchdowns.
But the thing is, Dylan, if you take away the tush push, Josh Allen is still an elite quarterback because he was playing at an elite level even before he was doing all these tush push touchdowns anyway.
Absolutely, but he loses a significant amount of stats that you're using, that people are going to use in the MVP conversation. If you take away,
hey, talk to them, not me, man. Talk to them.
I
take
don't
it up
think
with those.
Josh Allen is going to win. I don't think Josh Allen's going to win the MVP. So.
I don't think he won the MVP either. But again, Buffalo has.
I think it's going to be. I don't like it. I mean, if you look at the predictions, it's literally down the middle. Like, no matter what site you go on, they just have it literally down the middle. As far as who's going to win,
I'm telling you who I'm taking right now. I'm taking
the Ravens.
I'm taking fucking Derrick Henry to be the fucking snowplow.
But then again, you can't discredit Josh Allen in the snow either.
I'm not going to discredit
because that's also for.
But I will discredit how much more banged up the Bills' defense will end up being because of it. Because as good as James Cook is, he's not a snow running back. The type of running back that he is terrible in the snow. Like the scat backs, the jukes, all that stuff, that doesn't work in the snow. He's going to fall. The type of running backs that work in the snow are Derrick Henry.
Hulk.
But you also have to understand the Bills, they come from that. They're used to playing in the snow. So they got that figured out.
They're used to playing in the cold.
They're used to playing in the snow too, Mike. They play at least 2 to 3 games every single season in heavy snow. They're used to that, Jack.
They haven't
up in Buffalo.
Heavy snow. Like they played 1 game this year in heavy snow, and outside of that game, it's been a while. since they played in heavy snow. And that snow in the Niners game wasn't really heavy. It was there was a good amount of it, but it wasn't heavy. It was accumulating. But they were also playing a team from California, so they had no business being there. No business.
They did not want to be there.
No, where the Ravens also play in the cold. So like I don't think it's gonna be that much of a difference for them.
Yeah, no, there's still gonna be a little difference because the Bills do play in the snow. Like the Ravens haven't played one snow game this year, if I'm not mistaken. The Bills have. They play snow games every single year. They are used to it.
Yeah, I don't think again cold weather teams are cold weather teams. Like they're gonna be fine. It's not like they're playing a dome team or a West Coast team or a Florida team. They're playing another team who plays in the snow. I mean, in the cold. And they're gonna figure it out. And again, you have Derrick Henry. That in the snow,
it.
big back. That's it. Tackle me.
I dare you.
You could be bruised and cold. It's gonna hurt.
So, we'll get to the picks in a moment. Since you wanted to go into this game next, and we have a bet on this game, Washington and Detroit. I think Detroit's going to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And I think there's a slight chance. I don't think Washington's ready for prime time quite yet, but Dylan will appreciate this, and I hate to give this to him. But this Washington team very, very much gives me Cincinnati vibes from a couple years ago. They very much give me that quarterback that just he's just playing above his head. He's just playing crazy.
I don't know what it is, but he's got all of it, baby. All of it.
It just feels like the momentum, everything is just on their side. And this is a game that they are not supposed to win. And here we are.
Everything up.
Here's my problem.
This is literally Cincinnati versus Tennessee all over again. Because Cincinnati was not supposed to come. We were the number one seed. We were the best team all year. We have Derrick Henry. And they came in that good for y'all. Y'all won a playoff game. Good. Now y'all can go on the road and get destroyed. And that didn't happen. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Washington can keep this claim close, like I think they will, Detroit's going to get tight.
I think I found your where your hate for Joe Burrow stems from.
It is always stems from that game. It is always stems from that game.
I feel like I have found it. I understand now.
So to pull the curtain back for everyone at home, Anthony immediately after Washington beat Tampa Bay, for some weird reason, was like, all of this just to get thrashed by, what was the word? Just to get blasted by Detroit. And I said, that is not going to happen. What is your definition of blasted? And he said 13 points. So I said, if you give me 14, I will put 2 single Gatorades on it. And he accepted the deal. So I have Washington plus 14 for this game.
That's not bad.
Feel good.
You do know that they'd have to lose by 15 or anything below 14.
I know that.
Or actually, no, 15. Anything below 15.
I really should be 14 and a half. It really should be 14.
Should be 14 and a half, but if we're going real gambling rules, 15.
Which is fine with me.
Yeah. It's kind of worse for Anthony, to be honest.
My problem with Washington is Well, my only issue is they can't leave points on the board the same way they did with Tampa Bay. All this stupid ass, we're going to go for it every single time and just fail. Like they just can't. They can't do that again with Detroit because Detroit will absolutely punish them.
And
They
Detroit
will
will then go
absolutely
for
will.
it every time, and they can also.
History shows they don't fail that much. Outside of that Niners game, history shows they don't fail that much.
Didn't they just have a game the other day, like a couple weeks ago, where they just were not converting?
Yes.
More times than likely, they get it. And my thing is, 23 points can beat the Buccaneers. 23 points absolutely is not going to beat Detroit, especially in that stadium. They need to score more than 23 points to beat the Lions.
I also just don't think the Commanders' defense is very good.
Well, that's the other point. Their defense is average.
Like, it's okay.
The defense is
like,
average.
You can't use an okay defense against this Lions team. Like, granted, I think this Lions defense is going to struggle with Jaden Daniels, but like, this could very much so be a shootout. Very much so be a shootout.
I'll take a shootout. I don't care.
Singletary is coming back too as well.
We'll see. I would love for this to be a shootout, but this also has like Lions written all over it, where it's like they can't lose in Detroit. If they lose in Detroit, I'll be very, very like weirded out by it. I'm like the only team I think can actually beat them in Detroit is the Rams, ironically enough, because Matt Stafford wants that lick back.
Does, but
funny enough, I trust Philly more than I do LA.
I don't.
He hates Philly, if you remember.
I don't think they're very good.
He absolutely hates Philly.
I think they're a poorly coached.
I think Philly has a history of playing up to competition. I really do. I really think they do.
Which is a problem to me because there's no consistency with them. They are malleable and molded by the teams that they play, and they're not like consistent where I know what I'm always going to get like I do with almost every other team that's playing. I know what I'm expecting. The Eagles, I don't have that.
That is true. I agree with that.
That's why I can't trust them.
I mean,
I know they're going to run the ball with Saquon, and I know they're going to tush push. I can't guarantee I can't guarantee anything else.
That's all you need to know.
Because the thing with Philly, their roster is so deep. They're loaded in every single spot. And at times, all Jalen Hurts needs to be is just a game manager sometimes, and just they win. You know? Sometimes a lot isn't really required of him at the end of the day. Sometimes people see his stats and be like, oh, well, Hurts didn't do much, didn't have a great game. Yeah. Well, that could be true sometimes, but other times, like, yeah, he just didn't have to do much.
Didn't have
he just really didn't.
Like, you don't have to do that. Like, it's not necessary. They can absolutely win the game with him throwing the ball 15, 20 times. If you're in a position where your quarterback only has to throw the ball that many times, you're going to win 9 times out of 10. Like, I don't want my quarterback throwing that much anyway. So, Dylan, are you on Team Mike for this bet or Team Anthony?
I think you're going to win the bet.
Thank
you. Like a two full scores is tough. Like, I wouldn't have taken that at all. I'm like, no. Keep away from me. I'll give you 10. I'll give you 10.
I would not have taken 10. I would not have taken 10. I can tell you that right now.
You know what they say, Detroit versus everybody. That's how it's going to be.
No thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. What's the other game? Chiefs Texans. We went over. Oh, Rams Eagles.
I'm taking the Rams.
You also love Matthew Stafford. No, he loves Matthew Stafford.
I believe in Matt Stafford.
Even though I know he hates the Eagles, I do know he really does believe in Stafford.
I like Stafford too, but
Always
then I don't like him in this game.
We're getting white boy on white boy crime. Cooper Kupp versus Cooper DeJean.
And one Cooper's gonna get roasted.
When's the last time we had a white wide receiver matchup against a white cornerback? The fucking 50s?
This is gonna be another 118-yard passing game from Jalen Hurts. Saquon's going for like $180 and 3 touchdowns. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I don't see the Rams winning this game.
I do. I see it. I think there's a way to do it. I think there's a way there. This is where the Eagles playing down to their competition is in my favor. Because they don't got to play up. They got to play down. And if they sit there and do the same shit they did against the Packers, against the Rams, they'll lose.
There's a chance of that. But I don't think they will because, again, I still, as good as their defense played, I don't think the Rams' rush defense has improved that drastically. And I saw Saquon literally take them apart on Monday Night Football. I think they will be better. I don't think Saquon's going to run for 200 yards. Yeah, but I think Saquon's going to dominate this game again. And the Eagles are going to win like 8 or 9. Maybe an 8 or like 10.
The Eagles have a better line than Minnesota too. On top of that, and plus, if they somewhat minimize Saquon, they're going to go in the air because Jalen Hurts, when he as much as I can be critical of him, when he's required to beat you in the air, he has shown he can beat you in the air. When it's time for AJ Brown and Devontae Smith to turn it up, they can very much turn it up.
And that is why they're so frustrated because they know they can turn it up and they just never do.
Yeah, like that unpredictability deal you talked about, that does work in their favor sometimes at the end of the day.
Yeah, but if they get frustrated because of the style, like the routes and shit that they get on, because Hurts really, like, his best passing ability is his deep ball. It's his deep ball. He is very good on the deep ball. Like, when it comes to the intermediate shit, he's not good. And like I pointed out all the fucking time, it's not fucking good on it. So the only way those guys are getting on there is on home run plays. Like a 15, 20, or 25-yard passes or plus down. That's when they're really getting involved. They don't get involved on a lot of the catch short shit, take it, which Devontae is very much so like really good and able to do on there. So I don't know. We'll see. I still think, again, I trust the Rams. I trust Matt Stafford. I always have, always will be. I'm sitting there. I want Stafford. I want Stafford versus the Lions again. That's what I'm really rooting for.
Well, we will make our confidence picks in a moment. Let's quickly talk about basketball that James thinks we never talk about, even though why would we talk about basketball right now? But hey, whatever. He'll be back soon, folks. Complaining and
about foosball.
Foosball. It's basketball season. Why are we talking about football? Are the Cavs really 34-5 good?
God damn.
Yep.
My bad. No, it wasn't even that. When we were talking about basketball, I popped up the NBA on my phone. This fucking Nets are trailing 55-116.
Yeah.
There is 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter and they have 55 points.
Together.
What the fuck is going on in this game right now?
They absolutely quit tonight. They absolutely quit.
You can't quit when you don't play.
Like this ain't even early 2000s Pistons type shit. Like this is like insane.
Yeah, this is what I want.
Y'all getting investigated after this game, yo. I just hope
We
you know
have
that.
a billion second round picks to give up. It's okay. It's okay.
This is the most blatant, just we don't give a fuck. We are clearly just
Here's
tanky
what will
type shit.
happen. Adam Silver would investigate. Sean Marks would be like, all right, here's 10 second round picks. Take them away from us. Like, we're cool. And then we're good. And then we're good.
Terrible.
It's just I don't even know what to say.
We love to see this.
This is just
Put it on the list of things we love to see.
57. Who's the
We
leading
got a bunch
scorer?
of guys who I don't fucking know playing. Oh, nothing's better. And it's not like old vets. It's young kids. I have no clue who they are. No guys I've never fucking heard of before. And it brings joy.
Your leading scorer is some dude named Wilson,
Jalen Wilson
comes
I
off
know
the
Jalen
bench.
Wilson. Yes, I do know Jalen Wilson. Like Tyrese
Holy
Martin.
fuck.
He played a game against the Suns earlier this season, scored 30, and we beat the Suns, and now he's just sitting here just like getting 8 points. Like, oh, lovely. Only one person on the Nets has double figures. God, we love it. This is what it's all about, guys. This is what it's all about. I was told the Nets aren't going to do this. You think the Nets are going to tank. My GM came out and told the whole world that he was tanking. My GM came out and said, we may not be winning games. Oh, well.
But this is just too obvious, man.
Again,
this is just too.
The whole team needs to be more subtle with what they're doing.
Like, bro, you can't be losing by 61 fucking points, man. Like, this is.
Like, I know the Wizards only have 6 wins, but the Wizards are better than us.
No, they're not.
They are a better basketball team than us.
The Wizards are not better than you.
They are better.
You want them to be better, but they're not better.
They're better than this team that's playing tonight.
I think you, James, and Roz could be better than that team that's playing tonight.
And the worst part about it is Jordan Fernandez is so pissed. That's the one part. Like, he's so fucking pissed.
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten ejected tonight.
I love Jordan Fernandez. I think Jordan Fernandez was absolutely the right hire. Absolutely the right hire. The problem is Sean Marks had to make that executive call and be like, can you fucking stop? I did not trade back for my own draft picks for you to come in and fuck it up. Play D'Lo every 4 days. Cam Johnson better have some type of injury. Cam Thomas don't play because he's going to fucking take all the shots in the world and fucking find a way to have us win. Golden State, where Schroeder went from having the best year of his career to being non-existent. What a fucking finesse that was. Nets traded for a guy who's out for the season. And oh, it's lovely. And Anthony's just like, you guys can win games. You just no. And I'm going on the 25th to go see the Nets versus Heat game in Brooklyn because that is the Vince Carter jersey retirement. Got my tickets, got some excellent tickets. And we're going to lose, baby. We're going to lose. Oh, can't wait.
Terrible.
My buddy's like,
Back
I
to-
hope we watch Cole Thomas play. I'm like, I hope we don't. I hope we don't.
Role player. Back to our original question. Cleveland.
Can we talk about some winning teams again?
Cleveland.
Never. Let's talk about the Nets for another 10 minutes.
Yeah, Cleveland. 34-5. Is it sustainable? It's more than a blip now. It's almost half the season now.
I know.
I don't know how sustainable this is after the All-Star break. Because they very much so just are hot. And we all know that the All-Star break, after having that little bit of time off, some teams cool off drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And the teams that are cold tend to heat up. So I don't know what this means for them. If they are this and this is who they are supposed to be, then it's gonna be the status quo and they're gonna keep doing it. But I think they're gonna slow down a little bit. A little bit.
Because obviously they're not gonna get Golden State's record of
No, absolutely not. I think you'll see some losing streaks. Like I think they'll knock off a couple like 2 to 3 game losing streaks here or there. Like I think Boston could close in a couple games, probably get within 3.
They're behind by 9 right now.
6.5.
6. The Knicks are down 9.
Knicks are down 8.5.
Oh, we won tonight, so it was 9.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think Boston could get within 3 of them. Like I think they'll still probably end up having the first seed when it's all said and done.
I firmly believe they're going to get the 1 seed at this point.
Yeah,
unless they fall
off, right? So even if like they're going to be a top 3 seed, I believe they'll still keep the first seed, but I think Boston will have a chance to try to get there too. But I just think they're just going to run into a couple bumps where they're like, okay, 2 losses in a row, then they'll win a couple, 2 losses in a row, then they'll win like 5. And then there we go. Playoffs. I have no idea. I don't know what to expect from them in the playoffs. But we'll see. They're going to have favorable matchup.
We think.
Unless someone bottoms out and it's like, oh, we're the 8th seed now.
Unless Philly sneaks in, unless Detroit sneaks in. I don't know what happens if Orlando falls off because of all of their injuries.
Well, Paolo's coming back, or Paolo is back.
Playing.
Yeah, Paul's already back.
He put his shoulder through Paul George's chest the other night.
We love Paolo.
But, we'll see. We'll see. Is Jimmy Butler getting traded?
The Nets are down 60.
Yeah, I turned it off.
I think defeat ever 52 points in 1978.
I'm hearing Memphis pop up as a front runner for Jimmy Butler now. I think he's going to get traded. Like they can't keep him there. He's literally having like weekly face-offs with Pat Riley. I'm like, this isn't going to work, man. Like,
but teams are being told to trade for him. That's the weird part. Is teams are being told to like cool off. So I don't know who's gonna like pull the trigger unless they're waiting for Phoenix. That's where I'm like, you're gonna have to convince Bradley Beal to like want to be traded. You can't just tell. So unless you're trying to make that happen, like that would help the Phoenix team a good amount, but what does that do for Bradley Beal? Bradley Beal doesn't get anything in this. He gets to go and be in Miami. So I don't know. You got to find a team like if you're the fucking Grizzlies, you have to give Desmond Bane and like a couple other guys to make that trade work. And
Well, if you're the Grizzlies, why would you
Gotta,
do that? Because they're the 3 seed right now.
They're the 3 seed. Why would you
yeah,
jeopardize what
Why
you
would you do that?
have to bring
because
in
they
Jimmy?
gave Desmond Bain like $200 million.
And I think Memphis really believes that if they're healthy, they can win the title. I think they believe that. Whether or not that's true, that's a different conversation. But I think Memphis thinks they have enough to win the title because Ja is that guy. And, well, when you have one of those guys, you have a chance.
Correct. But this is such a weird situation because Jimmy Butler's taking stabs at Pat Riley every fucking chance he gets. And Pat Riley, did you guys see the Pat Riley quote where he's like, maybe I am washed?
No.
Somebody asked him, they're like, oh, do you think you're washed when it comes to like this whole like trade thing and deal with players? And he just goes, maybe I am washed.
That's
And it is one of those like memes that's been going around right now. It's like breaking. Pat Riley is washed.
Oh man,
It's very funny. But this is a weird breakup, man. It's a weird breakup, and it goes back to how Dwayne Wade's divorce with the Heat kind of was. And Dwayne Wade mentioned that in his statue presentation there and all that shit. Like eventually Miami's just going to throw you away when it comes down to it. And I think we're finally seeing that. Granted, I think Jimmy did this to himself a little self-inflicted, and Pat Riley's just sick of it. So Pat Riley has just been like, you know what? Fuck you. You're out. You're out of here. You're going to Siberia. Here you go. But I think he's going to show a little bit more class than Siberia. I don't know. I originally thought the Warriors.
Brooklyn.
Huh?
Siberia at this point is Brooklyn.
No, because he would do enough to fuck me over. He would absolutely do enough to fuck me over, and I don't want that. Siberia is still like Washington or Utah.
Yeah, Siberia is clearly Washington. They are 6-32. Wow, Washington's worse than New Orleans.
Imagine Zion heading to Heat culture, where they care about body weight. That would keep his ass in shape. Or send him to Portland.
Oh.
Ain't nothing in Portland.
Ugh. Yeah, you're right about that.
Chauncey needs to get out of there.
Don't worry, they're going to get him out of there.
God, the West is so fucking tight. It's crazy. Like literally from 5 through 12, it's just separated by like a few games. Like,
yeah, the Warriors were like the 11th seed or something, and they were 3 games out of the 5 seed.
Like, yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts.
Ain't nothing make me happier than seeing the Suns team being a losing team right now. Hate's real. Good. Love Kevin Durant, but I gotta put this bad juju on him for a little bit.
It's just not working. I think are they still trying to get Bill on the bench?
Yeah, they're trying.
They're definitely trading the center because they just traded for another center today. So
they hate Nurkic. They hate Nurkic.
Nurkic is absolutely getting traded. So
we love it. Blow it up. And they also don't have any of their draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're screwed.
So like 2031, right? Something like some crazy shit. Jesus.
Like granted, I love that we have our picks back. I wish we still had a couple of theirs.
And they can't. There's nothing they could, and they can't make any moves. Like that's the thing. Like they just can't make any fucking moves. Like
Who's are
because
hey,
Beal.
Bradley Beal doesn't want to get traded. We have to trade Devin Booker. Durant. Like these are the only things that we have available to us.
Yeah.
Beat. Go ahead, Matasheba, you fucking loser. Figure it out.
Another situation where bad ownership just
Should never
ruins a
fired
franchise.
Monty.
Should have never fired Monty.
Mm-hmm.
But let's give the people what they want. Football predictions. Let's go. Dylan, let's play the music.
Okay, as we alluded to 2 hours ago, Anthony is in fucking dead last. It will take a miracle for Anthony to come back in this confidence pool for the playoffs. It's a damn shame we didn't put anything on this too, because then Anthony would have had to pay the dinner for Mike and whatever we did for this. So, boy, oh boy. Anthony, you have the floor. Go right ahead.
I have the floor. I have the ballroom. I have everything. Oh, fuck at this point.
You have the floor yourself, to be honest.
All right. What's my 3-pointer? My 3-pointer is going to be the Eagles over the Rams. My 2-pointer will be Detroit over Washington. And my 1-pointer will be the Bills over the Ravens.
All right, my turn. My 3-pointer is going to be the Chiefs over the Texans. My 2-pointer is going to be the Lions over the Commanders. My 1-pointer is going to be the Rams over the Eagles.
Well, here we are again. We're just doing these confidence picks for fun. I thought for sure the irony of this was going to be I was going to get every game. But lo and behold, still got some of the juice.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
And the more things change, the more they stay the same. Dylan, you are correct. My 3-point pick will be those Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are just a better team. And I just can't. I know how dangerous these Rams are. But Saquon Barkley is a different
You
animal.
better hope the stink of Anthony doesn't fucking take a hold of this.
It does not feel good. It does not. We will go. I was going to do Texans Chiefs as my 2, but we will stand on business as I do and take the Ravens for my 2-pointer because we will stand on business because I think the Ravens are going to the Super Bowl. And the only way they can go to the Super Bowl is to beat this Buffalo Bills. I'm not thrilled about it. This snow is not making me happy, but Dylan convinced me a little bit. If there was ever more of a reason to give Derrick Henry the ball, it's No. My only fear is that Baltimore does not get Derrick Henry the ball. That's my only
They don't have
fear.
Zay Flowers, so it's not like they're going to be throwing the ball to Aguilar.
That
and Bateman too.
How we knew that game was over. When I saw Nelson Aguilar catching balls, that game was over. So give me Chiefs for the 1 pointer, even though, like I said, I really think Texans they're going to make that game interesting. I would have also taken 14 in that game too. Because I don't think the Chiefs are going to beat them by 14 points.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given you that.
So
I would have gave you 9.
Well, yes. So, Eagles, Ravens, Chiefs. Those are my confident picks for the week. We're going to keep the music on, though, because me and Dylan's got business.
Oh, boy.
We both got one game right in the college football semifinals. Dylan correctly picked Ohio State in a great game. Great win. I correctly picked Notre Dame in what was a good game. It was a defensive game. Yeah, it was a defensive
Boy,
game.
it didn't start that way.
No, it started as a defensive game. It didn't end that way. Nobody could get a stop at the end of the game. So now here we are. My only reservation, Dylan picked Ohio State to win the championship. I know what Dylan's doing.
Oh, wait! I
know what Dylan's doing. I said Texas was going to win the national title and they were going to beat Notre Dame. That's it. So what are we doing? What are we doing?
Don't tell me about to pick that Bucky's worker at quarterback to win this game.
How many points are you giving to take Notre Dame? How many points are you giving to take Notre Dame?
10.
Oh man, 10 or 10 and a half?
10.
Oh man, the problem is Ohio State is a front-running team, and if they get out to a fast start, they're going to win by 3 touchdowns. But if Notre Dame can just withstand that first punch, if they can withstand that first punch, I got you. I got you hooked. I got you right where I want you, because they'll put Ohio State in a dogfight. I don't know if they're going to survive that first punch, because I know Ohio State's going to start fast. I know it. And I don't trust
Gotti's at wide receiver. They got Judkins at running back. They got a team. I told you this Ohio State team is good.
But here's the kicker.
I also told you this Notre Dame team was good, so you still owe me a... Like, I didn't think they were going to beat Penn State, but I did say they were good. You were trying to kick them out early. I was trying to kick them out early.
I think Notre Dame has the better coach, though. I think he's a better coach than Ryan Day.
Are we doing this because Ryan Day doesn't beat Michigan?
No, we're doing this because Ryan Day, up until a week ago, doesn't win big games.
What if I told you that old ass Lou Holtz would be there in attendance to watch in person? Will that sway your opinion?
Is that a thing?
Old ass Lou Holtz gonna be in attendance at the national championship game.
That actually makes me lean more towards Ohio State.
Because, Ryan Day's going to see Lou Holtz and be like, I'm going to fucking Kill
What am I down? 3? I owe you 3 Gatorades right now?
That'll be 3 Gatorades.
Well, I'm still under a pack. All right, I'm still under a pack.
Are we putting any on the line?
Man, I just Notre Dame's quarterback scares me because he has the haywire gene just all up.
He's going to be the and what he's done in college, he's going to be the guy at Buc-ee's who's cutting brisket. That's what he's going to be doing. Because, boy, he fucking horrible.
But he's got the heart of a champion.
That's sick. Ohio State has the... Well, they both have history as championships, so I'm not going to do that.
Give me 11 and a half.
No, I'm giving you 10. I'll say, granted, Notre Dame hasn't really won shit in 100 years, but... And Ohio State's been winning national championships my entire life at this point.
Give me 10 and a half. Give me a half a point.
I'll take a half point the other way. 9.5.
I'm not doing 9.5. I'm not doing 9.5.
I'll give you 10.5.
Give me 10 and a half. I'll put
3 on it to make it a pack.
I'll put 2 on it.
Okay. All right.
I'll put 2 on it. So I'll still owe you one if I get it. All right. So I'll take Notre Dame 10 and a half. So I've got Notre Dame. I'm going with the underdogs this week, folks. Notre Dame 10 and a half. I've got Washington plus 14.
OH.
I fucking hate that shit.
OH.
Anthony, say IO.
IO.
OH.
No, he doesn't get it. He doesn't.
IO. Damn it.
IO.
Yeah.
So there are our college football picks. A national champion will be crowned. And we will be back to talk about it right here next week. Listen, we know what the lead story will be next week when we sign on here. We know that there will be a massive argument in the chat because regardless of how this Baltimore-Buffalo game goes, either Anthony is going to praise Josh Allen up and down, up and down, up and down, or what I think is going to happen, Buffalo's going to lose a tight game, and Dylan is going to just shit on Josh Allen regardless. And Anthony's going to try and save it. Josh is going to make a bad play at the end of the game, and Dylan's going to act like he was the worst interception ever, and Anthony's going to act like the rest of the defense didn't do nothing, though. Just Derrick Henry had 150 yards. Get ready, folks. Next week is going to be fun. Next week is good. However this game ends, because
if the Bills lose, when do you talk about firing McDermott? When do you talk about moving on?
That is OD, Dylan. That's so OD.
How many years he been the coach? They don't make it past.
That's OD. Come on.
You never been to an AFC Championship game?
No, they've been to one. That was the 13-second game.
That wasn't the AFC game.
That was the AFC Championship.
That was the AFC.
That was the AFC Championship. Yeah.
Well, at some point, you got to move on. You can't be coaching forever.
This next week is so full.
Can't be coaching forever.
I think. Will we know the NBA All-Star next week? Not yet, right? I think we're still 2 weeks. We're still 2 weeks.
Possibly. We're still a ways out.
Do you care about the UFC this weekend? I don't.
No. No.
Maybe we'll recap it if something crazy happens. But I'm him. We've got I'm hims this week today.
Do I have an I'm him this week?
I gotta
Oh,
think.
yeah. I got I'm him. Fucking CC Sabathia.
Shout out to CC.
Shout out to CC Sabathia.
Shout
For
out to
finalist
CC.
for the Hall of Fame.
Going in wearing that Yankees hat.
The Junkies. That's the there really is no other like you could go in wearing the older Cleveland Indians stuff, but his impact on the game was definitely more with the Yankees than anything else. So shout to CC Sabathia. Well deserved. Carlston Charles Sabathia.
Anthony, you got it. I'm him.
No, I don't really have anybody this week. Nah, can't think of anybody.
Another Ichiro Suzuki. Shout out to Ichiro Suzuki. Another former Yankee. Going to the Hall of Fame.
Briefly, I don't think he's going in as a Yankee though.
No, he's a Mariner.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that one.
He's a Mariner.
My I'm him is. Well, we can do it. Let's go with that guy Derrick Henry because boy oh boy, that's a bad man. Bad men do bad man things. The Ravens have a Hulk, and I think people forget Derrick Henry had because Saquon had 2,000 yards. I think people forget that Derrick Henry had 1,900 yards this year. So shout out to Derrick Henry for going out there and doing Derrick Henry things. Shout out to John Morant for dunking on Wemby. Like, not even disrespect to Wemby, just like the sheer physics of Ja dunking on him is crazy. Anthony, it's in the chat. Make sure you look at that. That is
I got
craziness. But we'll be back. Where's Roz counter continues. We found out that Roz is also he has a second job.
He's for the youth.
For the youth.
He's for the kids. Wu-Tang is for the kids.
Hopefully Breezy will be back, although he takes his sabbatical during these playoffs, so I probably won't get him back on here until our Super Bowl show. Then I can force him back on here. But from
we gotta start talking more NBA.
There's nothing to talk about until the All-Star game, unless Jimmy gets traded. There's nothing to talk about right now. Cleveland is on fire. OKC looks like the best team in the league. The Knicks are good. The Celtics are good. The Lakers stink. I mean, that's that's the NBA right now, and a lot of people are injured. Like, that's the NBA. Like, Luka not being able to win MVP in January that rule is crazy. But
yeah, the tank rule or the load management rule is ruining it for the guys who are actually hurt. That I'll agree with. That I absolutely agree with. But there does need to be like 60 games is a lot. I think that's crazy. Or there has to be like an exception.
Like exceptions or something.
You have to get like a 10-game exception or something if you're actually hurt.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I was hurt for a month, so now I can't win MVP. Like, what sense does that make?
Nonsense.
What do I know? Well, from us to you guys, you have a great night. We will bid you adieu.